All right, welcome to another edition of Get Naked with Your Marketing with Chala Dincoy from Coachtactics. I am thrilled to have a good friend over the last couple of years. Her name is Susan Crossman from Crossman Communications, and she is a writer and a content guru, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what she does. So over to you, Susan.
Thank you very much, Chala. It's great to be here and on the verge of getting naked. That's always fun.
And you're wearing like as many clothes as I've seen any of us.
I am Canadian.
Here, I know it's cold.
Yeah. Well, maybe that'll be part of the show. I'll start taking them off.
You've never had that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, good. Well, I am a veteran writer. I've been writing for many, many years for many different applications. And in the last, 7 or 8 years, I guess, I have jumped into this idea of content marketing.
Yeah.
And content marketing is all about your blogs and newsletters and white papers and all that kind of good stuff that helps your target audience, members of your target audience, find you and respond to you. So that's the business that I'm in. I do that for a lot of different size companies. In the last year or so, I've been doing a lot of work with manufacturing companies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a real an opportunity, a real opportunity for me right now.
Well, I mean, like, what are you writing for them?
The whole gamut. We're putting together, I have a team, and we put together everything from social media marketing strategies that work with, case studies and newsletters and press campaigns that we are doing. Email marketing. We put together, a program that involves a lot of different elements, but that all work together to support both the search engine results that people need to get and the sort of what's a real person think when they land on your site. So.
Yeah, and it's so important for, especially if they're not a sexy industry, for them to optimize all of that, because that's what people are, sexy or not, people are searching by the keywords, right?
For sure, yeah. Yeah, are you offering what people need is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So thank you for being vulnerable and for wanting to be here. I often say this, that the people that I approach to do this are willing to be vulnerable, because the name of the damn thing is naked. And that's really my life mission, is to help people become who they are and to be able to stand in that voice. So, with that in mind, what has been one of the worst marketing mistakes that you've ever made in your career?
I think it probably was early on. Well, maybe not even so early on, but partway through. My business has had different iterations that have matched my life cycle as a parent, as a mother, as all that kind of stuff. And so there came a point when I was really, actually just after my husband died, he passed away, and I had to rejuvenate my business and really get it going in order to support me and my 2 kids. And I was not very clear on who my target market was. And so for a long time, I was marketing away with great enthusiasm to everybody. And I got the response. I mean, you're laughing, right? And I got the response you'd expect from that kind of approach. I got no response. And that's, of course, why, as I really wasn't clear on who my audience was and what I did for people, for potential clients, and who the heck they were. And so, yeah, that took a long time for me to figure out, but I did.
Yeah, and thank you for your honesty in saying that. You are now the 3rd guest we've had on this show. It's new. Yeah. And you are the 3rd person to answer that question in exactly the same manner.
Well, and I appreciate that. I'm glad I'm not the only one. But when I first started blogging, I was so excited about blogging. I'm a writer. Blogging came naturally to me. I was glad to do it. It wasn't hard to write. And I was every week sending off a new blog post about anything, and because I like to write, right? And I like to write about writing, and I wasn't addressing the pain that my potential clients were in and how I can solve it. So yeah, I went for 6 months. I was blogging away there and nothing happened. And actually a friend of mine, Tom Gray out of Denver, Colorado, I hired him to coach me initially on, how do I make the most of my online content? And he was the one who said to me, a blog's great, but why don't you figure out who it's for and what problems they're having and how you solve it? And of course, once I got that part figured out, results started to happen. So
yeah, I know. And you know that I'm a niching coach, and it just about kills me, Susan. It just about kills me that people spend. You're lucky you spent 6 months. People spend years and they still don't know A, that they should focus, and B, who and how to pick one. Right. And we figure it out within 2.5 weeks. Honest to God, it kills me, but I am so glad you said that. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, listen to Chala, everybody. When she talks about being really, really, really specific, she's right. She really knows what that does for you.
I did not pay her to say that. It's not saying that because she's my friend. Okay, so now the second question is more the naked part. So it's about, what is your biggest fear in, you write a lot. So what is your biggest fear in showing up as your true opinion, even if it goes against everyone else? And, this could look like showing up in your marketing with your face or with your video, which I know you do a lot of, but were you ever afraid, or are you still afraid of any of that, of really showing up in your marketing?
I'd say probably not anymore. But I know there was I'm just who I am, and you can take me or leave me. And, I know I'm not the perfect person for everybody. And I'm quite comfortable with that. I'm quite comfortable to be a bad match for somebody because they're just, we're just not meant to work together. And that's fine. That's part of the process of refining and defining who you do work for, is knowing who you don't work for. But I think, for a long time, and going back to when I said, my husband died, my husband passed away, and that's sometimes a topic that makes people feel, kind of upset and uncomfortable and unhappy. And I think for quite a while, I didn't want anybody to know that I was the widowed mother of 2 young kids, because I didn't want that sort of the pity vote to come through. I didn't want anybody feeling sorry for me or uncomfortable or anything. And I think part of that was that I wasn't comfortable with it. I think part of that was that I still didn't have that piece resolved, and I wasn't ready to address it maybe myself. Fast forward 7 years, and it's just what it is. It is what happened, and it was very difficult, and it was a big challenge. It, I'm sure, changed the course of my life a lot. But it's part of my story, and it's part of what makes me who I am. And yeah, there's nothing to be afraid about that now. Yeah. And I do bring that in, I think I reference it on my website here and there. It's just part of my vulnerability. I think that's maybe what I've learned too, is that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Right.
It's okay that you're not this great superhuman individual who never has anything bad happen, and his hair is always perfect. And
I'll tell you the effect your story had on me. I always knew you through a networking group that we both belonged to through eWomen, and I knew what you did, but honest to God, and I'm being honest, you were no different than any other copywriter, marketing, content person that I had ever seen. And then you and I both presented at Barb's event. Right. And when I heard your story of what you went through with, and ignore the phone, I know, it's like, oh my God, I don't know how to turn that thing off. Anyway, I know hey, we're relaxed here, as you can see.
Yeah.
When I heard that story, it connected me so much to you as a person. It made me look at you so differently. It made me feel so much closer to you, and you became so much more than just a content marketer to me, that I don't know, my perception of you changed. And maybe in a stupid reason. Maybe it's a stupid reason that, you overcame this hurdle, and I admired you for it, but it did change. I'm human. I can't help it. So I love that message about your vulnerability of your horrible thing that you yourself don't want pity for and are maybe sometimes ashamed of sharing is actually a connector to other people, because emotions are so much what makes the decision in business rather than rationale.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I know it's been said before, and thank you for saying that, by the way. I appreciate that very much. They say that we make our buying decisions emotionally and then justify it rationally. And I think that's probably true,
Yeah. And that's how I felt. And so that's what anybody who is able to share that. I'll share a very sad story. A friend of mine's teenage son has leukemia, and he refuses to be, and they're trying to do a drive for the bone marrow donation. And he refuses to be the face. Like, he refuses to have his picture put into the donation drive. He refuses to tell his friends. He refuses to talk about it. So that fear that's instilled in you from whatever your conditioning or social conditioning or early childhood can kill you and kill your business depending on the situation. So, like, how important is that for us to embrace that early?
Yeah, and also, from a big picture perspective, we are each of us in a position to inspire other people too. And if my story, if there's somebody in my audience who has shared one of the experiences that I've had, that I can give some hope to or promise to, or, give them a sense that, hey, it gets better, then maybe that's what I'm here to do too. I think our stories really are very powerful, and they're probably more powerful. The story we tell ourselves is probably the most powerful story of all. Like, I know at times, when certainly soon after my husband died, I got wrapped up in my story, which at the time was, I'm the widowed mother of 2 special needs kids with a disabled elderly mother in my life.
Wow.
And that, the response to that for a while for me was, how am I, I can't possibly do this. Like, I can't. And there was a fair bit of self-pity involved in that for me. Like, I can't do that. But in changing that story, I had to change the story that I was telling myself before I could really generate success in what I'm doing. And now I don't even think about, I don't think of it that way at all. But
that's wonderful.
Yeah. It's it's good.
It's valuable. You're right. It's not just what happened to you that you share, but it's how you put it into perspective, and that depends on the story you tell yourself. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so what is one marketing secret to success that you can share with our listeners or viewers?
I would say be very, very, very consistent. Be consistent in your messaging. Nice. So across all platforms and all channels, make sure you are communicating the same thing. And also be consistent in your efforts. So, I meet a lot of people who want to have a blog, for example, to support their business, or a newsletter. There's another good example. And they'll get all excited at the beginning and they'll write 4 blog posts in a row. And then they get busy doing other things. And that might have been in 2011 that the last blog post was written. And it's not doing them any good, not from a search engine perspective for sure, and certainly not from, a visitor lands on their site and they see a 3-year-old blog post. Well, is this person still in business or what? So once you start, keep going.
That gives me you're right, and that's actually something that I do with people that I meet at networking events. I look at, or prospects. I go and look at if they have a blog, because the SEO person tells them, oh, you got to have a blog section in the website, and so they put it just as a placeholder, and then they have a 3-year-old blog in there, or like even if it's from last year, I'm like, okay, there's a problem here, and actually most of the reason why is because they don't know what to write.
Right. You know what? And I love those people because there's so much to write, there's so, and that's really interesting. A lot of my clients also don't think they have anything interesting that anybody would want to know about in their business. And they've got a million stories. I've got so many. It might be how they look after their customers. I was with a customer on Friday, in fact, and they were talking about that. I don't know how are we going to do a blog? It had something to do with we don't want to tell about our customers because we don't want to divulge any secrets kind of thing. And I said, well, there's a blog post right there, is how much you safeguard your clients' and customers' confidentiality and how well you look after it. And I bet there are 4 things at least you do in your business that is geared towards protecting client confidentiality. Well, if I'm a potential customer, I'd love to know about that.
Yeah.
So
That's very good.
The stories are there. It's just, you got to dig for them sometimes.
For sure. Now I'm curious. Do you read my blogs?
I do. I love your blogs, and I love hearing about your little boy.
I'm not saying that, no, because I know you're not just saying that, because I really do, respect your opinion.
Yeah, I don't read all of them, but I know certainly when you send the notification around that there's a new story. I love what you do, and I love the stories that you tell. You have a fabulous creative streak in you, Chala. It really shows up in your writing.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I might have been an author in my previous life. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it. I think you are now.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. No, I love it. I think anything you do with love shows that you love it, right?
For sure.
I mean, I don't love to cook. Let's be honest. I don't love cleaning the house, but I love to write. Yeah, I know. See, there you go. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Not my job.
No, exactly. So talk about, is there something that you give to people as a free download or an irresistible free offer to help them that we can offer our viewers?
Yeah, what I'm working on the next one. I do have on my website at the moment is an IFO, an irresistible free offer. I'm not sure how irresistible it is. It's because my business has changed over the last few years too, but I have one about editing, working with an editor, and that's more geared to the other business that I have. I actually run 2 businesses. One is the content marketing side, and the other one is on helping people write and edit their books. So there's the editing one there. The one that I'm working on that's coming out this year is a book on content marketing. My 4th book is coming out this year, and it's my content marketing book. So that will be, I'm putting a free chapter on my website within the next, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and that will be for people to help them understand what content marketing is, and what it can do for them. So that's not up yet. I'm so sorry, but
that's okay. That's okay. But so how do we reach you?
So people can get in touch with me, either just visit my website at www.crossman, CROSSMAN, and then the word communications with an S.com, crossmancommunications.com, or email me at Susan, SUSAN, at crossmancommunications.com. And I'd love to hear what people are looking for.
So what's this new book about? Tell us some gems that you're putting in there.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's really the distillation of what I've learned from my customers, my clients, on, what their biggest challenges around content marketing are, and how those challenges can be resolved. So I provide quite a lot of context about content marketing. One of my biggest struggles way back in the 90s, I was a marketing copywriter, working for a marketing agency. And, when I first started, I had come out of government communications when I started that job. So suddenly I'm in a marketing firm, and I really didn't know what marketing was. Like, what is marketing? And so I ended up researching it quite a lot. And fast forward to today, I find a lot of other people don't know what marketing is. So when you throw in this word content marketing, then it suddenly becomes even more confusing. But can I share just what my definition of marketing is? Because I think this will help a lot of people. Marketing is the process of starting conversations with the people who know they need what you offer.
Very good definition.
So you can start those conversations at a networking event, or by handing out your business card, or at a trade show, or through a keychain that has your company name on it and information. Through your blog, you can start those conversations through Twitter or LinkedIn or any of that stuff. And the content marketing part of it is really that those are the conversations you're starting online with your defined target audience in a way that resonates with them. So anyway, that's all going in the book too, and how to do it, how to use a blog, how to write a blog, how to plan and strategize around it, and how to use LinkedIn. That's a big one for a lot of my clients, is you know.
Yeah.
I thought LinkedIn was a job hunting website. Well, no, yes, it is, and it's also an amazing way to get leads.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way that I see content marketing, Susan, is that it allows you to position yourself as an expert, because only experts blog, write, and voice and do TEDx talks and do keynotes on a topic of expertise. And like only experts do that. If you think about all the people that you follow, all of them provide their thoughts regularly in some format, whether written, or verbally or on video, they do. And so that's what you do, is you help them position themselves as an expert.
Exactly. And it's especially important if you're in a very competitive area, a competitive field, then you really got to be putting that content out there. Because it's how you differentiate yourself.
Do you have any success stories of your clients to share with us?
Yeah. I have one client that I've been working with for about 6 months. It's a big company. They've got revenues of $15 million, and nice. they're looking to build on that forward. But they had nothing when we started. They had no online presence at all. Now we've developed a really substantial body of work for them, and they're getting calls on their newsletter. Like every time they send their newsletter out, they're getting some connections. I've trained their sales staff how to use LinkedIn and for lead generation, and we're getting some response for that. We're, what else are we doing? The case studies are doing well. We have a trade show follow-up program in place that's helping them as well. So, and they all work together to support each other.
It sounds like you're doing more than just content, like more than just writing blogs.
Yeah, a lot more.
Doing the whole marketing, that's really great.
Yeah, it's what the need is, and I have some amazing people on my team that are just brilliant people at what they do. So,
right. But I like how you're very clear about what you do first and foremost. It's not that you can't help them write their LinkedIn, but what your specialty is creating content, writing content. Good.
For sure.
Love that. So in closing, do you want to tell us about, what are some of, and this is really getting naked again, but maybe you want to take your foulard off.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, oh my God. Oh,
get rid of that.
I didn't think there was something to see. No. And you're wearing like a turtleneck.
I told you, I am very Canadian.
How cold is it in your house?
Oh, well, I don't know. Cold enough that I'm comfortable.
That's good. Because I cranked up my heat. I'm like, that's it. I'm in Mexico. So my real question is there something in your business that still scares you? Yes,
and I'm working on it now, and that's the financial part of things.
Okay.
I do not have good systems in place for the financial accountability part. And in fact, I just got caught up before Christmas. I hadn't really been looking after that for over a year. And so I didn't know where things were. And now I'm back on track. And, being a writer, I can add up, 8 numbers 8 times and get 12 different answers. Like, it's just not my area of genius. And, I pass that along to people on my team. I've been going, okay, can you look after this? And they go, ooh, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Anyway, we finally figured out that none of us, and there are 4 of us, that none of us are actually numbers people. So I've hired now a bookkeeper, and she's going to look after all of it for me. So, because I'm not good at it, and I don't like it. So.
What was the fear around that?
Screwing up.
Right.
That that I won't do it well, and that, somehow, I guess I'm a recovering perfectionist, like I don't know how to do it well. And so if I don't do it well, I don't want to do it.
Wow.
Yeah. I learned a lot about myself through that little, exercise, but now, and it took me a long time to grow up about it. Like I think part of me was that little girl who just wanted daddy to look after it. And, because I had the world's best father, and he looked out, I was his princess, and but there's no princess in my, no father or husband or anybody in my life right now and that was the other thing too. My husband did all the bills.
Oh.
When he was alive, he did all of the accounting for my business. He did anything. He did the taxes. He loved that stuff. And so when he died, I kind of tried to do it, but I think for a long time I was still waiting for a new husband or something to come along and rescue me from my.
Don't we all? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. But good on you for getting a bookkeeper. And yeah, I mean, money is such a huge topic of fear for me and for so many entrepreneurs. And I have a very scary bookkeeper. She caught one of my emails to a vendor asking for documentation because I said, I have a very scary bookkeeper. And she writes back and says, I am not scary. So I was like, oops. But she keeps me so like by the book. She's like, you will be audited. Like if I don't do it, she's like, you will be audited. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like that face. Exactly. So she keeps me on the ball, and I know my numbers like cold. I know my numbers, but Susan, I'm still scared. Yeah. And I'm not scared about that part of it. I'm not scared about not knowing the numbers and what they are. I'm scared about money in general. Like, where am I going to get the next, big client? How am I going to get the next big client? How many am I going to get? Like it's 2015, right? And I made more money than I ever have in my life last year. So how am I going to repeat that? I'm thinking like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's such a huge area. So thank you for sharing that with us.
You're very welcome.
Is there anything you want to say in closing and any advice you have for us?
Yes and no. Trust your instincts.
Okay.
That's a big one. That one took me a long time in business to learn as well. Trust your gut. Your gut knows.
You didn't used to?
I think I went through a long period in my life where I didn't know. I don't think I did. I think looking back on it now, I thought I was, but now that I'm actually living quite a lot through my instincts now. And I realize the act of learning how to do that now has taught me how much I wasn't doing that at certain phases of my life.
Wow.
So
that's wonderful. That's really great advice. Thank you so much for being naked and taking off some of your clothes. And that's as far as we've gotten. And then maybe the next guest will take off their jacket.
Oh, I'll have to watch to find out how great they are.
It's a continuing series. Pretty soon at the end, somebody will be sitting in a towel.
Woo!
That was the whole idea, right? I mean, a U.S. guest was saying, and I was a guest on their show, and I said, I have this idea that I'm going to do it. He said, what, do people show up in towels? And that was the whole joke, right? And that's why in the picture there's a woman in a towel.
Okay, well, I'm the anti-naked, I guess.
No, I think you got pretty naked. I mean, like we don't need to see actual skin for you to be naked. So thank you for your vulnerability, and we can reach you at Susan at Crossman with an S.com.
Perfect, yeah.
Or www.crossmancommunications.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Chala, so much for having me.
Take care.
All right. Take care, too.
Bye.
Bye.